Partners in development and government are working together to ensure the country is on an even footing in development. Under the arrangement, the Japanese government, through Japan International Cooperation Agency, Jica, has spearheaded technical cooperation to Uganda. Jica is supporting several development programs.
Jica's mission is the inclusive and dynamic development. And based on the principle, we have selected 5 priority areas, which includes economic development, agricultural development, basic human needs, and reconstruction of the northern Uganda.
For over 40 years, Jica is supporting technology initiatives and manpower development. Ugandans have received special experience after training and interacted with Japanese people to further their knowledge.
Mainly for the training we offer, government, people working in the government are qualified to attend this training. For example, people working in the ministry or in the government sector like hospitals, schools, farmers association, yes, that kind of people.
After the training, the alumni have formed Uganda Jica Ex-Participants Association, Ujepa, to take stock and further their training experiences. The Director of Police in charge of Fire Prevention and Rescue Services, Assistant Inspector General of Police Joseph Mugisa, is one of the beneficiaries of the Jica support to human resource development programs.
I benefited in 1996, to be precise from the month of July up to November. That's when I was selected to undergo a course in firefighting techniques and rescue in Kitakyushu city.
Was this training beneficial to him at his place of work?
I picked a number of concepts. I picked a number of procedures which they follow in Japan, because I had an opportunity to be attached to a fire station in Japan, one of the fire stations in Japan, for quite some time. So I emulated, I copied their procedures, standard operating procedures.
Katumba Malagala Erieza, a former principal at Bira Vocational Training Center and woodworks instructor, is another beneficiary to the training program in Japan over 20 years ago.
I went to Japan in April 1996 to study woodwork engineering and design in a program named Group Instructors Training.
Muanga Fred is the acting principal Nakawa Vocational Training Institute since 2014. Formerly an instructor in sheet metal and pipe fitting at the same institute, Muanga likely has had a series of scholarships to train in Japan.
The first time I went in Japan, it was 1997. When I went to train at Chiba Polytechnic Center for 6 months. I went back in 2007 on a program which was on enhancement of instructors for vocational education and training.
Chiahurwa Patrick Natumanya is a technical manager instructor at Nakawa Vocational Training Institute since 1998. Chiahurwa is a beneficiary in the Jica-sponsored training in Japan.
Yes, they have made me better in that I have the Japanese concepts which are international and latest, like 5S, which I apply and I use them to teach the managers who come to have their training from Nakawa.
Deborah Zawede is the principal at the Uganda National Association of the Deaf Vocational Training Center. For 10 years, Zawede has been able to transform persons with hearing impairments. She is one of the lucky Ugandans who was selected after reading about the training in the local newspaper.
The course that I applied for was a diploma in institutional management. And that package included human resource management, financial management, entrepreneurship in education.
The Commissioner Secondary Education at Uganda's Ministry of Education and Sports, Baritazare Benson Kule, is another beneficiary to the Japanese technical human resource development.
Actually, we were in Hiroshima. I was in Japan, and we had 2 months, two months and a half.
The national trainer of mathematics to secondary school teachers at Sesemat National Office, Caroline Taliba, is also a beneficiary of Jica sponsorship skills training.
Thank you. I got this sponsorship in 2012, and I traveled to Japan for 1 month, and I was attending my training at Tokyo Gakugei University.
Caroline was able to improve her tactics of delivering the lessons to the teachers ever since she trained in Japan.
I look at that training as having been an eye-opener to me in terms of how a mathematics lesson should be conducted, how a teacher needs to prepare himself or herself before entering a mathematics class, and eventually how the teaching is going to be done, but thereafter the reflection.
On the basic health needs, Jica is facilitating a number of government health centers with equipment and training personnel to ensure quality health care. Mulago National Referral Hospital Principal Administrator David Nwamanya is one of the beneficiaries of Jica skills training programs.
By the time I went for the training program, I was a hospital administrator at Masaka, which is a regional referral hospital. And after the training, because I gathered enough skills, I actually worked with Jica to transform Masaka Regional Referral Hospital.
Nabachwa Olive Nora is a senior nursing officer at Mulago National Referral Hospital. She has been serving as a nurse since 1991. She has had chance to be sponsored for the course in Japan under the Jica arrangement.
Training was really good, and we were exposed to many areas in Japan. We went to see how their health systems work, and I was also taken through different areas in management, communication, like managing someone.
In Imbale Regional Referral Hospital is Dr. Stephen Obo, the hospital director. To him, Jica has done it all.
Jica has had a long relationship with this hospital for many years. They have, apart from training staff in terms of equipment, they have also helped us in what we call quality improvement. Things like 5S, another quality improvement measures. They have trained staff.
Mike Mutesasira is a nurse and medical equipment user trainer at Imbale Regional Referral Hospital. He has benefited from the 3-year Jica-sponsored training.
So I happen to be one of the 2 medical equipment user trainers that we are having in Imbale Regional Referral Hospital. And we are not only serving in Imbale Hospital, but also the catchment area, which is 14 districts.
Silvano Afai is a regional environment coordinator, North, at the Wetlands Management Department, Ministry of Water and Environment. He had the opportunity to train in Japan under the Jica sponsorship.
I left Uganda without any single knowledge. And when I got to Japan, I was introduced to GIS. As I talk now, I no longer look for specialists for GIS. I do my own mapping.
Dr. Mutambi Joshua is Commissioner Processing and Marketing at Micro, Small and Medium Scale Enterprise at the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. he had a chance to carry out specialized training in Japan with support from Japan International Cooperation Agency.
But the first time I went to Japan under Jica International Training Program was in 1997, October, when I went to Chushu Jica International Training Center for a 5 months training program in oil hydraulics and mechatronics. So I came back in April 1998. That is way back when I had just joined the ministry. I joined the ministry in 1996.
Dr. Mutambi has been able to offer technical guidance to the Ministry of Trade in different capacities.
One was the first time I went to Japan. I came and we implemented the equipping the Industrial Research Institute. We started that institute. Now it is running. It is doing applied industrial research, developing products and setting up model processing facilities.
In the agricultural sector, Jica is facilitating national and zonal agriculture research stations.
Culture, we have what we call rice promotion program, and within the program, Pride project, promotion of rice development project, is the biggest we have.
For sector growth, Jica facilitated the training of staff to manage research systems.
Human resource development is one of the most important activities we have, because as a development agency, we are supporting the development of Uganda, and Ugandan people are the ones who have to take it up and continue.
Annette Nakaima Margaret is a crop scientist who has had the opportunity to train in Japan.
The very first one I went for rice cultivation for African countries, that was in Egypt. The second training was rice cultivation research techniques, that was in Japan.
Nakaima has been able to train trainers of trainers and the community on the innovations on rice growing.
Yes, we handle farmers. Of course, our research is farmer driven, because the farmer is the end product. Post-harvest handling is a very important issue, because we know in all crops quality is a #1 issue.
Dr. Asea Godfrey is the director at the National Crop Resources Research Institute, NACRI. He appreciates the contribution of Jica to the development of technology for crop research at the Naro Institute.
Jica is one of our longest serving partner, especially on rice activities, and we have had a long collaboration since 2004, when they first dispatched the first expert called Mr. Subui.
Were the course units to the expectations of the participants or the need to be improved?
I would go into details. Confined space rescue, for instance. These are very good techniques that I participated in and added on to what I knew.
Trainers, or we are trained as master trainers for the manager training. We completed the training and came back and started conducting the training programs for the managers.
I saw it as very excellent. I usually go back to my teachers and I thank them, because you may see the things that are common, things that seem to be usual, but we are not putting them into practice. The course has been so beneficial.
Uganda needs such multi-skilled labor force to realize the development objectives depending on the criteria for selecting the beneficiaries. These are customized trainings, basically to suit Uganda's socio-economic structural development reforms. These participants went to Japan, a geographic setting, culture and development status different from Uganda.
Language, you can't do so much. Even when you're given their handbook, because we were given a handbook, it couldn't, yes, you could read through, but do very little about it. So you definitely wouldn't know what is happening. You wouldn't be able to overcome your issues because of the language barrier.
Over the years, beneficiaries to the Jica skills training programs have increased. These alumni formed Uganda Jica Ex-Participants Association, also known as Ujepa, an umbrella association to bring them together.
The alumni is a good idea, It's a good venture. Although being a crop scientist, when I go if it's for community work, I would feel more comfortable if I go for rice.
This enables us to go back to the community, offer tree planting. Those are some of the projects we undertake. Trees to schools, institutions. We inspire students, young blood, to know the value of reforestation.
Jica values such an association of Ugandans with the potential to improve the livelihoods of the disadvantaged.
Group which is formed together to disseminate what they learned in Japan and to have a better collaboration and exchange ideas between the participants who's had the same experience going to Japan in that sense.
Cooperation in Uganda is growing year by year. We hope that we can strengthen our cooperation furthermore and have a good relationship with Ugandan government and Ugandan people.
For all these improvements to take place, there must be more specialized training to add value to the development agenda.